Hey everybody, Professor Pipes here for another Piper's Office Hours. Today I'm going to discuss a review activity based on the game Guess Who. I thought it would be a great way for my kids to review characters and characterizations since that's a big focus of my class. So it's a really simple setup for you. You can do it with physical game boards like I have in my classroom, but this year I had to do hybrid, so I made a virtual one and it's pretty easy to set up, so you might actually just want to do it this way anyways. All right, so all you really have to do is create a bunch of rectangles and type a bunch of names in. That's it. That's the whole setup. So you will, insert your shape, choose a rectangle or a curved edge rectangle if you want to get fancy. Draw it in. Ta-da! Double click in and write your name, right? You'll want them all to be the same size, so you would click on them and then click Control D to duplicate, make a bunch. Great. That's it. And you type in the names. So here is my example one. I added a border and stuff. I thought I'd tell you the size that I made mine. Mine are 1.12 by 1.38. And it was kind of pain for me to figure out how many would fit on a slide easily. So that was my sizing. 1.12 by 1.38 allowed me to make a slide that looks like this with 21 names on it. Right? So that's it. That's the whole setup. And then you teach your kids how to play Guess Who. Now, if you want to get a little extra, you can create a spinner for them to choose their names. So they could just choose their character by picking one at random. They choose whoever they want from this, and so does their partner, and they ask each other their questions. But you could create a spinner if you want. So that's what I did. I created a spinner using the website Wheel of Names, and then I took a screenshot of it and inserted that as an image. But that's just an image. It's not an actual spinner. So you'll want to create a link that takes you to your wheel of names that you created. It's really, really easy to do. You'll notice that it's not possible on an inserted image to add a link. So instead, you'll want to insert a shape over your link. Shape, rectangle, drag it from one corner to the other. Yay, giant white box. Hurrah. That only is a giant white box, so now we need a link. So we go to our wheel of names, and then up at the top, you'll click Share, Continue, Continue. You get a link, copy link. Go back to your presentation, and right-click into your shape, link, Control V, adds that link. There you go. Now you have a link and a giant white box. No problem. Stay clicked on that giant white box. Click up here where it says Fill Color, and where it says Custom, you'll drag the transparency all the way from the top to all the way at the bottom, and it'll create a transparent box so that when they click Present and they click on this, it'll click straight onto the link that's on the box and take them to Wheel of Names, where they'll click it to spin, and it'll choose a name at random for them. So you'll have a spinner that looks like this. Perfect. It only works in present mode, though. So again, totally optional. You don't have to add that in if you don't want to. Then you have to explain to the kids that they need to make a copy of the game board. So they need to make a copy of this presentation in order to play. And that's because as they're playing, they're literally deleting squares, deleting cards. And so they make a copy, they have their character chosen, and they ask each other questions. So if you want to preempt it, you can tell them, don't ask questions that are really simple, like, does your character have blonde hair? Which is how you normally play Guess Who, but I wanted them to get a little bit deeper than that. So I tried to, have them come up with some higher level thinking questions that they could ask of each other. But in any case, it's their review, so they're going to make it as effective as they make it. So as they're playing the game, when they figure out, they ask each other questions, and when they figure out who it's definitely not, they would click on that name and click delete, and it deletes the card. I did warn them that they'll need to click undo a bunch to bring all the cards back at the end so they could play again, because we did this during Learning Center, so they had time to play a few games. My groups were not entirely even, and so I created another slide. Whoops. I created another slide that looks the same, but it has a little note on the bottom. So if they had an odd number of kids, they could use one slide for one partner and one slide for the other. Again, an optional thing for you to do. All right, so this was a super useful game to review characters from really any piece of literature. As you can see, I did it for To Kill a Mockingbird, but you could do it for whatever works for you. So I hope you enjoy this review activity based on Guess Who. Bye!